On the show today, we discuss dream re-entry, going back into your dream. Why would you want to do that? We tell you what water symbolises, and as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams and their meanings. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio today is Susan Pullen.
Hello.
So first off, Susan, thank you very much for hosting the show while I was gone.
My pleasure.
Do you really mean that?
I do. Actually, I do, yeah.
Thanks to everyone who sent dreams to RadioShow at dream-analysis.com or to us through Facebook. You can get our contact details and archives of all previous shows on dream-analysis.com. Please continue to send them in as we always need them for the show. If you've had a recent dream or one that has stuck with you over the years, feel free to give us a call now on 425-373-5527. We will get the meaning to you. You can also call with questions for either of us. Remember, Susan is also a life coach, so can help you with relevant questions there too. One last time, the number is 425-373-5527. So our feature today is very much at the behest of Susan, and it's dream re-entry. Why did you want to cover this?
I wanted to cover this because I think, well, oftentimes on the show, there's something will come up in a dream where it's like, oh, if someone could go back into that dream and do a little more work with it, it would really pay off for them. So I know I've had those times where I've woken up after a dream and thought, oops, I wish I had handled that differently.
That never happens.
Yeah, right.
All the time.
But the great news is that it is possible for you to go back into your dream to get more information or to change what you did in the dream. So some years ago, I had a dream that I was visited by giant pixies. And these were not like little pixies.
And you don't mind admitting that on the air? You know, the mic is open.
I know. And this next part too, they were 6 foot tall naked pixies.
Oh my God, it gets better.
I know. And they were making their way toward me, and I knew that if they got close enough to me and I looked at them, they would turn me into stone. And I thought in the dream I had loads of time before they would reach me, and then suddenly they were in the next room and I was trapped. And I completely panicked, and they came into the room, and I pulled the covers over my head so I wouldn't see them. So if you've been listening to the show for a while, you've probably heard us say that whatever you're trying to avoid in a dream is something that you would do well to face. And I didn't know exactly what the dream meant, but I knew that since I was terrified of these pixies, I probably there would be something there for me if I went back into the dream. And sure enough, I went back into the dream with the intention of facing the pixies. And when I did, they gave me a very specific and usul gift that I'm still using. And if
they were naked and 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
where were they hiding
the
gift?
I don't ask that question. It's a spiritual gift.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have to put it anywhere. But if I hadn't gone back into the dream, I would never have known what they had to offer me. So, we've talked about before.
Wait a sec. You're not sharing with us what they offered. All this
no,
suspense.
I'm not. I'm not because some things are not meant to be shared.
Oh. You can tell me after the show.
So I know we've talked about on the show.
Sorry, am I interrupting your flow here?
No.
Continue
Yeah.
as you were.
All right. So I was saying, our higher self offers us guidance and healing in dreams, but our subconscious is still active. So even if the dream gives us an opportunity for healing, we don't always take it. So how do you know when it would be useful to go back into a dream? I think when the dream has a charge to it or when it feels unresolved, those are times when I like to go back into a dream. If you feel like there could be a premonition or a heads up about a future event, you might want to go back into the dream to gather more information, see what other details you can pick up. Another example would be dreams that point out how you're trying to protect yourself like locking all the doors or putting on a bunch of coats or putting on your mother's coat.
Yeah, they're easy ones.
Yeah. I'd want to go back into those dreams and take off the coats and unlock the doors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if there's pixies outside.
Yeah, right. In spite of the giant naked pixies. Anytime you find yourself running away or avoiding something in a dream, we covered this earlier, back in July. But I would consider going back into that dream to face it. Or another example would be dreams where, like, you're carrying luggage or suitcase. That's an opportunity to go back into the dream and leave that baggage behind because you don't need it anymore.
But that's a hard one. I've had that one where you're dragging this suitcase all around the dream, or some baggage anyway that you've we're calling it baggage now, but in the dream it doesn't feel like baggage.
Right.
It's hard realizing, I've kept it for the 45 minutes that this dream seemed to have gone on.
Yes.
And now I've got to go back in and throw it away. It seems to go the wrong way. It's not the wrong way, but it does seem to go the wrong way.
It does, because often in those dreams, it emphasizes how we're holding on to it.
Yes.
And
we have to keep going back for the baggage because we left it behind.
Yes.
Which is what we're meant to do.
Right. So you might be wondering, why would it matter if you go back into a dream or not?
I was just wondering that.
So when we make a change on any level, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, we create a shift on all levels. So when we make beneficial choices or receive healing in the dream reality, it has repercussions in waking reality too. And
absolutely. I mean, your life is really set up for you by your dreams. If you accept everything that is offered to you in your dreams, accept the changes, accept the guidance, let go of the things you're told to let go of, your life will just be a dream. It actually switches around. Your life will be so easy. But it's when we consistently say no in our dreams that something has to happen in our lives to say, hey, we're going to make you turn around whether you consciously want to or not. So that's a really interesting point.
Yeah. And I think, I could add, even if you don't go back into the dream, they'll keep giving you that opportunity. It'll keep coming back.
Yes. But you do short circuit a lot of pain in your life by going back into dreams and taking care of these things on the spirit plane way before they ever have to manifest on the physical plane.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's really relatively easy. So
as long as you know what you have to do when you go back in.
Yes, true.
Do I lock the door or open the door?
Okay, so our number again is, you can always call us if you're not sure.
425-373-5527.
Yeah. So once you decide that you want to go back into a dream, how do you do it? The first thing is to choose a time and place where you have some quiet time to yourself. So for some people, it works to do this first thing in the morning when you're still laying in bed, before the day has picked up. But really, it could be any time of day. The next important thing is to get clear on what you want to do with the dream. So do you want to get more information about something? Do you want to make a change? What's your intention when you go back into the dream? The next thing is to get yourself into a meditative state. So whatever works for you for that, focus on your breathing, relax your body.
And if it's morning time and you haven't gotten out of bed yet, you're probably still in a meditative state.
Right. So it's a little bit easier
so you can
then,
just
I think.
Go straight into it then.
Yeah. So find a scene in the dream that has some juice to it and that will work with your intention. And just focus on that scene in the dream so you can just move yourself back into it. So you're going to hold that intention as you re-enter the dream. And then at the same time, you're going to just hold it loosely so that the dream can still unfold the way it's meant to unfold after that. But it'll be different from the original. So, that's about it. When it feels complete, then you just bring yourself back and just be sure and bring yourself fully back.
I do this a lot, actually. Mm-hmm. I tend to mull over my dreams before I get out of bed, and I go back in and I fix things that I didn't do. Sometimes I just groan. And, oh no, look what I did. That's too much to go in and fix. But it is something that's really good. And in fact, going back into your dreams a lot and doing these things actually helps you become lucid in dreams as well, more easily. So one that always stands out to me many years ago, I used to have a lot of dreams about opening up my heart. And of course, when you haven't done that, you don't know what it's like. Of course it's open, you fool, didn't I tell you? Which is exactly the sound of somebody with a closed heart. But I would have a dream where I'm going along watching somebody build a wall in an open field. And of course, both the wall and the open field represent their heart. But somebody's building a wall there. And I'm sort of nodding and saying hello as I go past. And then when I became semi-lucid in that dream, and I realised what the wall meant. And I go back and it's all wet cement still, and the guy's still building it, and I just start knocking it all down. But it's great when you wake up from that and you go, okay, I did the right thing there. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want you to do. Like, the guy wasn't irate with me doing it or anything like that.
Yeah. So, and I just want to add that, like any sort of meditation type activity, sometimes it's easier to do this in a group or with a friend. And like, I facilitate a lot of this kind of thing with my clients and in the workshops I teach. So
yeah, people might prefer that because then you're telling them what to do.
Yes. Yeah. So. I think it's easier to do it in a group. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do our feature dream now, and we're covering a subject we frequently don't cover. So we will just start off. Susan's going to read pieces and I'm going to analyze them.
I was at my childhood home in the yard. Someone was mowing down a lot of growth, plants, weeds, and grass. I wanted to save one of the deep reddish maroon plants and dug it out, being careful to save the root.
So I always go straight for colours in a dream if anybody ever gives a colour. They mean the same thing for everyone, and personal association cannot be overridden, cannot override their meaning. Maroon is a dark brownish red, so it is connected with the base chakra, which is red. And the base chakra has to do with reproduction. And this colour in particular has to do with frigidity. The dreamer's youngest child is just 6 months old, and in her own words, she does not desire her partner. Understandable. Mm. The dreamer, very interestingly, is currently working on childhood issues, including being an unwanted pregnancy herself. I say interestingly because at the time of the dreamer was unaware of how relevant the dream was to that subject matter. What has come up for her is that when she discovered she was pregnant, she was initially unhappy both times. And this dream shows the work she is doing on herself is addressing the root where that came from. If you didn't know what maroon means in a dream, you'd still get this from her working to save a plant. The plant alone symbolises the reproductive system. Working to save it is reflective on the work she is doing on herself now. More power to her. Being careful of the root is excellent. The base chakra is our root chakra, and it feeds our sexual energy.
So I took the plant to transplant to the front of the house and noticed things I'd planted before were looking pretty barren and dead. I went to check out what I thought was a tomato plant, but it had a Japanese spotted plum growing on it.
You know, I looked up Japanese spotted plum, couldn't find it, but I've learned lots about plums that I'm not going to share here now. Anyway, moving the plant to the front of the house is great. This is resolving past issues, which is working on the back garden, and caring for your future, which is tending a garden at the front of the house. The garden with plants keeps us firmly focused on the reproductive system, and by far the most common plant you will see in this type of dream is a tomato plant. Actually, you don't usually see the plant, but the tomato itself. Fruit in dreams is always about the reproductive system. Why? Because a true fruit is developed from the ovary in the base of the flower and contains the seeds. It doesn't matter that cookbooks refer to a tomato as a vegetable. It isn't. Scientifically, it's a fruit. But we already know the subject matter, so we can move on. The Japanese part of the plum tells us that your view in this area is extremist, very black and white, but there's nothing new in that for you.
So it looked purple and white with white spots. I touched it and it started moving like it had a creature inside. Sure enough, I figured out there was a bat nesting inside and I left it alone. Okay.
I wasn't happy when I saw the dead and barren reference, and then the bat didn't surprise me. The bat is not a good symbol and must be addressed. And this is something, like, we're talking about it on the air here, but I've already talked to this dreamer about this dream.
Yes.
So she owned up to the frigidity. In fact, I was trying to tone that one down and say it in a very nice way. And she says, no, it's that. So that was cool. But here, it can indicate, the bat can indicate something like uterine fibroids, but you need to keep an eye on it. Uterine fibroids are muscular tumours that grow in the wall of the uterus and almost are always benign, that is, not cancerous. The colour purple is used to heal tumours in dreams. All this, along with the barren and dead description, focus on healing required. If it was my dream, I'd get a checkup just to put my mind at ease. Purple is a healing. Purple is also used for other things, but that's its healing purpose in a dream. The bat can also indicate a tendency to project negative thoughts when it comes to reproduction. You mentioned in your comments that you're doing some mental mom bashing while working on your own childhood issues. Don't do that. It's not good for your own system. Certainly work on the mom issues, but just allow it to come up whatever comes up.
So later I was in a bathroom and I saw the same bats in plum plants hanging from the soap or toothbrush holder above the toilet. The bathroom was very warm, like the heat was on in there.
Here the dream directly asks you to eliminate the bats. That's what the bathroom is about. Also what the soap is about. Soap is about cleansing. Teeth in dreams represent reproduction and raising children, so not surprising this symbol shows up in here. We've had it on the show many times before because it is such a common symbol. So in keeping with the theme, the toothbrush holder asks you to eliminate or brush away negative thoughts with regard to the reproductive system or having children or your own birth. But you know, when you said there was only one bat in the plum plant and it was nesting in there, the fact that it's only one is really good in this dream. You want to see as few as possible. But this is well, we'll do the last little bit and then come back to it.
Okay. I told a male friend about the bats, and he started screeching as if he were deathly afraid. He shouted for my former father-in-law to help, his voice cracking and breaking while he screeched. Okay,
so if we were wondering if the bats are positive in this dream, clearly this guy wants them gone. His fear is an exaggeration of the fear mentioned earlier. Because of the nature of this dream, when I phoned the dreamer, she told me another one that she'd had where her mother, I think it was her mother, appeared and screeched at her from the top of the stairs, and her mother's passed on, that there was rats in the bedroom closet. And we can see the similarity here. Both dreams mean the same thing. The second one, though, is much shorter and to the point. So, linking this in with dream re-entry, this is a perfect dream to do that with.
Yes.
And what you do is you go into the dream and kill the bats. Definitely. You get rid of them from the bathroom. You can just release them, but ideally kill them. And this might seem like, oh, that's gruesome and it's hard to do, but it's definitely the right thing to do in a dream. And especially kill the first bat that's in the plum plant. So it's so easy. And you can kill them any way you want. You can imagine calling an exterminator and watching them take them away. You know, it doesn't have to be you bludgeoning the bat or anything like that. But that's definitely what you want to do. And it's also worth pointing out that, you know, we all have cancer dreams from time to time. It's a subject we don't really cover on the radio, but we all have them. Our bodies will develop renegade cells, and our immune system is trained to spot them and kill them, so or recycle them, whatever way you want to put it. So it's not unnormal to have cancer dreams. It's only a problem if you have it repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. And I mean every night after night after night for months. To have the odd cancer dream or few is absolutely okay. So also if you can channel, you can check on these things. So anyway, don't be alarmed if you see cancer in your dreams. But it is one of those words that tends to trip people and make them not see logic. Okay, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you what water means in your dreams.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favourite colour?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
Do you suffer from never wanting to be ill? Apply Michael Sheridan's Dream Tonic nightly. It's sure to prevent all manner of diseases.
Let's get serious. All around, you see adverts telling you how to spot the signs of debilitating illness, and that's great. But that's also depressing. The good news is, your dreams last night already told you the specific condition you are susceptible to. That includes stroke, heart attack, cancers, and more. Isn't that great? Yeah, I don't expect you're smiling. But when I tell you that your dreams also tell you why and what you need to do to prevent the condition from ever occurring, that should put a smile on your face. I don't expect to convince you in a 30-second ad, but I will if you attend my 2-day intensive dream course. Don't be a statistic. Stay in control of your health. Michael Sheridan's Dream Workshop Seattle, September 26th and 27th. Register at dream-analysis.com. St. John, New Brunswick, October 3rd and 4th.
Are you wondering about your path in life? Do you have the sense there's something you're here on earth to do, but you're not sure what that could be? Maybe you've had a major change in your life recently, and you're asking yourself, what's next for me? I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts, and I believe that each of us comes to this lifetime for a reason. Not only do we come with a specific aim for our life, we also bring with us special gifts that help us to make our unique contribution. Now is the time for you to discover your gifts and your life purpose. Now is the time for you to realize your true radiance. Find me on the web at true-radiance.com.
No shirt, no shoes, no problem. Come as you are. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams and their meanings, and our phone number is 425-373-5527 if you have a dream or a dream-related question. So our symbol this week is water. It shows up in a lot of dreams, and it can mean a lot of different things. Well, it can mean a lot of variations of the same thing, I suppose. So water can symbolise your spiritual side or life itself. How water is depicted in the dream says something about your spiritual side. Our spiritual side is quite often the most neglected aspect of our nature. You'd never know that listening to this show. Spirituality is expression of the soul and not to be confused with religion. Expression of the soul connects you with life and is your true essence. What gives you expression? Is it writing, poetry, playing musical instruments, dancing, teaching, helping others, etc.? Do you know what it is? And if you do, have you created space for it in your life? That's quite often why we're dreaming of it. The sea is the ultimate body of water. Life came from the sea, so this dream can be about life or your spirituality. Life is, after all, a spiritual journey. A river has a natural flow and has carved out its own path over time. This dream is asking you to be like a river and allow your spirituality to flow freely in the direction it needs to take. A lake is another large body of water but has no outlet, and in this dream you're being asked to create an outlet for your spirituality. Frequently, it's also telling you that your spiritual depth is deeper than you'd think. A canal, which is probably more common, is a flow of water whose path is controlled by man-made structures. So this indicates your spirituality is limited by man-made or conventional ideals. And that can be just because of society that you grow up in, which is also man-made. A swimming pool is a body of water contained by 4 sides, and this indicates you limit your spiritual expression or your flow of life. Shallow water indicates that despite what you think, you still have room to deepen your spiritual side. Watching others jump into water is a request to jump into life or develop your spiritual gifts. Rain is about letting life in, and being caught in the rain in a dream is very positive. What the rain is hitting can be significant. For example, rain falling onto a car engine asks you to let life into your heart. And for instance, that would be even if the bonnet of the car is open, or hood of the car. I'm trying to think of the American word and I said bonnet, of course. So if the hood of the car is open and the rain's getting in, you might want to, in your dream, run towards the car and shut it down. But no, that's really a good dream. So, of course, if you do, go back into your dream and open it again. Polluted water changes what it's about. And that symbolises toxins in your bloodstream. These dreams will usually indicate what food or drinks are causing the toxins to get there. And you're being asked to cut them down or cut them out of your diet altogether. Water running down the walls or leaking from the ceiling of a house or building is indicative of your body being dehydrated. This is common particularly if you were drinking alcohol the night before. Soapy water asks you to cleanse something. For example, washing red meat in the sink asks you to cleanse red meat from your diet. Soapy water hitting your back is a request to cleanse something from your past. Deal with it and let it go. Okay, so we're going to move on to some of the dreams you sent in during the week. And we've got quite a few. I'm sure we won't get through them all, but let's start.
All right. My dream started with the name Aristotle in big scripted print. The next scene, I was going to a college class with my little dog. I was informed that the class had changed venues and then was directed to a dock with a small boat, which is where the class would be taking place. I asked if I could bring my dog and how long the ride would be, considering I had my dog with me. I was encouraged to bring my little dog along with me for the ride.
Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, Aristotle is considered the father of science, but in no way limited to that. If you read anything about him, he has done so many things, including metaphysical things. He's a prolific writer, written hundreds of books, and has a stunning influence. And it's his writing is really the key for you in this dream. You're being asked to write about yourself. So, okay, the college class says it's about a spiritual thing, and I mentioned earlier with the water dreams that spirituality is you expressing yourself, and here you're told to write. So it is a spiritual gift, even though we might not consider it that. And when you're told the venue's changed to a small boat, a dock with a small boat, so the dock is about birth, so it's saying you came here to do this, and the small boat is saying write about you. So you're not to write about bigger things than that, just you and your journey and your thoughts. How you have to be considerate of your dog is important in the writing. It allows you to dialogue and therefore express things and notice things you otherwise would not be able to do well in your writing style. So my problem here, of course, is reading what I've written down. Writing.
So, and Michael, the big scripted print, is that also emphasizing the writing?
Yes. Yeah.
So we have another dream from the same dreamer.
It's from her husband.
Oh, okay. Right. This next dream was from my husband. Okay. He was walking down a woodsy trail with a river running alongside it when he observed a brilliant green bird that was camouflaged in the tree. It looked like part of the branches. He began talking to the bird and exclaimed, "I know who you are." The bird then morphed into a python-like snake that came at him. The snake was now behind him, coming at his feet. Although he felt threatened, he knew he could escape and get around it.
Okay.
And she also notes that she has a 32-year-old son who showed up, and he needed to tell him something. The husband needed to tell him something in the dream.
That's right. Okay. So this dream is saying set your goals, but don't compare your goals to others. Envy can cause you physical problems in your digestive system. This is connected with your son, but not necessarily the son in the dream, because that's quite often how dreams work. You need to let your heart soar. This is what the green bird represents, independently of anyone else. And this is connected with your spiritual path. So because we mentioned Cancer before, the bird morphing into a python is not a good symbol. Any sort of mutation, so the bird mutating into a snake, it's the same sort of symbol. And so here, of course, it's only a warning. It's not saying there's anything there. But you don't like to see it in dreams. It's a terrible symbol. So work on not comparing your spiritual path with anybody else's, and not comparing anything else that you want to set your heart in doing with anybody else, what they do or how successful they are in doing it. And I know that's easier to say than do at times, but quite often you have to realize that the difficulty you have is part of your life purpose. So that's what you're here to do, is overcome this thing. So it's not like you're being held back because of this issue. This is your issue. This is what you're here to work on. So knowing that you're here to work on that, that's great, because you've already identified the problem. It is great.
And Michael, the bird being camouflaged.
Yeah, that's also not a good symbol.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to hide itself somewhere. And when it's anything hiding in a dream is not good. So when it's trying to hide itself and blend in, then you have to say, okay, why is it trying to do that? Because we would get rid of it otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another dream. Let's see. This one is from Nan. I want to get my car washed. I'm in a very long line of cars. Then I somehow move up quickly. I'm next in line. I enter the car wash, and suddenly I'm alone on a very high pedestal. Seems like hundreds of feet up in the air. When I realize how high up I am, I kneel down in a praying position and look for my money to pay for the car wash. Now I realize that I left my purse at home and I only have a pocket full of coins. I look at the coins in my hand and decide that I don't have enough. I need help to get off the pedestal. A young Hispanic man in a uniform appears on my pedestal. I look up at him and he says he will help me. He holds out his hand to me. He wants me to get up and come with him. I tell him that I left my purse at home and I don't know what to do. I decide to go with him.
Okay, so we had a dream from Nan last week, or maybe it was one of the weeks.
Last week.
You did. Okay, so last week. And she thanked us for that one and sent this one in. And I had some other notes that I didn't read out about Nan's dream before, but here, this dream is about you wanting to clear your karma. This is what getting the car washed is about. So you want to be cleansed. You want to be completely clear of any stains, any sins, anything. And but you're suddenly next in line. Now, this is really good to see in a dream. And then we find that you're up super high on this pedestal, several hundred feet. So, I mean, the height of this pedestal is magnificent in your dream. And you want to get off it. No, you shouldn't. Go back into that dream. And what it's showing you is your level, that you're already at a much higher level than you think. So think of a high level that you could be at, level of angels, for instance. You're up there. So you think you're not, but you are. And this is why you don't have to stand in line to get the car washed, because you don't have that karma. Now, a purse. Susan, what is a purse? Because in Ireland, I know what they are, but they're very different. They're what you hold your money in.
Yes.
But over here, is it not like a handbag? You hold your money and all sorts of... Yeah, that's not a purse. She's pointing at a purse, by the way,
I'm
on the
pointing
radio.
at a purse because it's a purse.
No, well, we would call that a handbag. Because you have the kitchen sink and several other things in there.
Yes.
Just in case you need them
yes.
sometime in the future.
Yes.
So a purse, I think then what we call a purse is a wallet. Although a woman doesn't have a wallet, that's a male thing. See?
We have wallets.
Oscar Wilde?
We have a wallet in our purse.
Oscar Wilde said America and England are two great countries separated by a common language.
Yes.
So, okay. So I'm going to take the purse to be about the money. And I wrote to Nan and asked her what type of coins, because that's important, because I suspected they would be silver. And they are. She said they were all different denominations, but silver. And I love the way she said denominations, because Nan is a bit of a holy Joe, or a holy Nan. So you have to make sure that religion isn't blocking you on your spiritual path. This is what all the denominations are about. But you have a strong psychic connection, and you're being encouraged to use that. What is a psychic connection? It's the same as intuition, where you get a feeling about things, but it's a strong feeling. It's not just, I think I'll have a donut. It's a really strong sense of, this is what I need to do in my life, or this is how I could help somebody else in their life. It's that sort of strong feeling that comes with a lot of information behind it. And you've got this ability. But you need to accept where you are first. I also asked her about, are you Hispanic? Because we have the Hispanic man come up in the dream. And she said no, but this Hispanic guy or Hispanic man show up in her dreams a lot. So this guy, because he is holding out his hand to you, and he's also up on the pedestal. Now that's the big key here. He's a guide because he's at a height. You're a guide because you're at the same height. So he's here to help you. So he's going to show up in a lot of your dreams, and he's always going to give you good advice. So going with him is exactly the right thing to do. Being concerned that you don't have the money to pay, that's okay in the dream. It doesn't hold you back at all in the dream, because you still do the right thing. Like you did not go into the car wash because you didn't have the money. So it's okay, but you need to realize you don't have a debt to pay. You're here to help other people.
So you said that it's better not to get off the pedestal, but that it would be good to go with him.
Yes, but he's up at that height too. So they're not changing heights.
Okay.
How can he be so many 100 feet up in the air? Now, she's telling him she needs to get off the pedestal, but she also says, I don't know what I need to do. And that's okay to say to your guides, as long as you follow them. And that's what she's doing. So she's done everything right in this dream.
Yeah, great. Okay, this next one is called Wave Pool. I'm floating in a huge tank or pool with many other people. We're all along the edges, along the four sides of the pool. Then a wave starts to form, and we're all raising up and down on the water. Now the wave changes, and a big wave forms along the edges of the pool and carries us all swiftly towards the center. I'm holding up a glass bottle, I think it's a brown glass bottle, like a beer bottle or root beer bottle. And I'm concerned about the glass breaking in the water. Now the wave changes again. This time a huge wave forms at the center of the pool and pushes all of us forcefully out toward the edges. I'm a little concerned about hitting my head against the side. I managed to get one hand up behind my head and bend it forward slightly so it won't be the first part of me to crash into the wall.
Okay, so the only reason I wanted to cover this dream is because it's so straightforward. The dreamer's holding up this brown glass bottle, and a bottle in a dream represents the kidneys. And as it turned out, a day after the dream, or the day of the dream, the dreamer discovered she had a bladder infection. So it was really just to point out, when I say the day of the dream, so she had the dream that morning, and then that day she found out she had that. So it's really good to see that in a dream. Well, on my courses, I always look for people with physical problems, because if you can say, okay, this dream means this, and the person goes, yes, it does, I do have that particular condition, then people begin to believe you that there is more to, there is substance to what you're saying the dreams are about. And because we know it's about a physical condition, there's other things too. It's about getting back into your spiritual work and not being afraid of hitting the wall with it or anything like that. But all understandable. But the physical side is really good. And when you know it's a physical dream, when you know you get this coming along later, then you can ignore the rest of the dream. It's fine.
So here's another dream. I'm part of a small group of people who are on some kind of mission. It's top secret. So secret that we don't write down the plans.
I love that.
I think I'm the leader, and I don't even tell the rest of the team what's happening until the last minute. We meet downstairs in an old building, and we might be in Paris.
I think the leader didn't even tell herself.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a secret. I hid it from myself.
Yes, which makes sense. I'm in a helicopter flying over a wide river or inlet of the sea. In the water below, I see a necklace of pearls and some green gemstones floating in the water. It's a clue to our mission, and I feel resolved about our next step. And there was another fragment, a dream fragment with a candle on a table, and the candle looked like one of those oil lamp temple candles in India.
Whatever they are. Okay, so the dreamer is here to work with groups, because right at the start she says she's with a small group of people, but she's here as part of a group of people who are on a spiritual mission, you could say, but a life purpose that's shared. So there's obviously other people here working with you who are going to complement what you do, or at least help boost you up, and you're going to boost them. So it's a mutual thing. I love the top secret part. That just is your way of saying that you don't know what you're here to do, but the top secret part emphasizes the importance of it, which is really good because it is super important. I'm skipping my notes. We know it's a spiritual thing because of the river and the sea, and the helicopter is about the heart. So we have the helicopter, we have what else have we got? We've got the green gemstones. So this is all about getting into opening your heart chakra, and the pearl necklace is saying that you have a prophetic ability. So this is really interesting. How a prophetic ability works is you think about things you want to do, and you will get a sense straight away that will say whether this is something that will be good or bad for you to do. I'm saying it in very black and white terms. It doesn't always have to be black and white, but you will get a sense of whether one thing to do is much more important than something else, and it'll help you prioritize. So it's really good. A lot of people are actually afraid of having a prophetic ability, but it's probably one of the most practical ones. It's not very common, but it's very practical because it cuts through an awful lot of the chaff and lets you say, okay, here's what I can do. I know I need to do this. I don't necessarily know why, but I know it's the right thing to do. So what else have I got here? The candle and the temple in the other dream, that is the same thing. It's about developing your intuition. The temple tells us it's spiritual, just like the water does in the previous dream. And the oil lamp also says that the dreamer has a healing ability, but she's to use her intuition while working on healing people. And something else I wrote, sometimes not knowing the steps or next step is what makes it your spiritual journey. Being given a jigsaw with all the pieces is not a life journey, it's practice for one. I like that one.
All right. I think it's time for a break.
Yes, it is indeed. We'll take a break. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake. Okay, listen up. This is important. Do you know your life purpose? Are you psychic? Do your dreams predict your future? Are you one of the X-Men? Your dreams give the answer to 3 of these questions. Find out which 3 by attending Michael Sheridan's Dream Workshop in Seattle on September 26th and 27th. Register at dream-analysis.com. St. John, New Brunswick, October 3rd and 4th.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the Force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
Are you feeling stuck? Are you trapped in the same old patterns of negativity, fear, or self-doubt? I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts, and I can help you to finally change those old patterns so you can move ahead at last. You may have already tried to change these patterns yourself, maybe with therapy, meditation, or sheer willpower. Certainly these can have benefits sometimes, but they don't always get to the root of what's holding you back. Now is the time for you to break free of the things that keep you stuck, so you can realize your true radiance. Find me on the web at true-radiance.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Ryder, Operations Manager for Alternative Talk 1150. We value your opinion and invite you to visit 1150kknw.com to fill out our 2015 listener survey. Your responses help us shape Alternative Talk 1150 to your listening needs. As a bonus, just by filling out the survey, you'll be entered to win a trip for 2 to beautiful Victoria, BC. Complete contest details and your opportunity to help us shape this station can be found at 1150kknw.com.
1150kknw.com. It's why they invented the internet. We think. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams and their meanings, and our phone number is 425-373-5527. We're going to continue on with some more dreams, Susan.
Yes. So we have this one. Lions are running around in woods outside. I can see them through the windows. They're yellowish gold in color, and there are 2 or 3 of them. An earthquake has stirred them up. There was an earthquake in a 2-story house. I held onto a table leg, but it was moving. I think I was upstairs and ran down. My husband said the quake is almost over when I told the kids to protect themselves. After the quake stopped, my daughter, who was around age 5, but is older in real life, wanted to go outside, but I saw lions still outside and said not to.
Okay, just making me realize we keep skipping the dream re-entry things we could be talking about in the other dreams. So the dreamer's issues come from age 2 to 5, because she says there's 2 to 3 lions outside, and the daughter is age 5 in the dream, but that's not her age in real life. So that's the biggest clue. So 5 is the big time. So the issues come from then, and she holds on to them in the mistaken belief that she's protecting herself, because in the dream she's telling the kids to protect themselves. Lions are her own pride. Her own pride is blocking her. Which parent was a proud parent? I mean, that's an easy one if you can figure out a parent that had that trait. And when I say pride here, it could be pride over being seen to do spiritual things, because we have a couple of spiritual things here. We have the windows. Looking out through the windows is about her psychic, strong intuition. She has a healing ability because the lions are gold in colour. But that's healing for elimination system problems, because the woods, the table leg, and the earthquake are all about elimination system problems. So the gold colour on the lions is there to fix that. But if I skipped anything on that, don't think so. Anyway, let go of the pride. That's a huge first step. We all have issues. That's why any of us come here. You'll not find a human who does not have an issue to work on. Look around. All the people you see all have some issue, just like you. You're not a victim here. You willingly chose this life. At the end of your life, you want to be happy that you did do what you came here to do and did work on the issues. So what do we do? Talk about dream re-entry. You go back into this dream. That most obvious thing to do is let the daughter back out and play. So it's basically saying you've shut yourself off, or shut your spiritual side off, I'm going to say, from the age 5. And in this dream, if you went back into it and opened the door to let your daughter go outside to play, then it's letting you be outside again, or at least show your spiritual abilities on the outside. And so when I say pride, it's not a crippling sense of pride. It's pride about, I don't want to be seen doing this. Most likely, you will know.
So here's one from another dreamer. I have the knowledge that the home of a healer friend of mine has become haunted. I call the power company to find out about her haunted house. A woman answers the phone, and she knows the exact point in time when the haunting started. She tells me it started on 2:15 at 54, and she means something like February 15th, and the minute is 54, so maybe the time was 2:54.
Okay. First of all, you're a healer because you're dreaming of a healer friend, and the power company, whom you call in the dream, is also another symbol for healing. Any great power source is a healing symbol, like a gas field or a gas tanker or anything like that. You're to connect with your female side, which is your intuition, because you'll find in the dream when you connect with the female on the phone, that's what the connection is about, she knows, she has the information. So the dream is saying, look, you're to connect in, use your intuition to work out things when you're working on people. You're looking for a problem with your healing ability, but you won't find one. That's what the haunting is about, because the haunting is just your own perception. You're able to put a time on when issues began for clients when you ask your higher self. So that's an interesting one too. Always great to be able to say to somebody, that leg injury you have, that came at the age 15 or whatever, you know. The more people, and they've done this with all sorts of tests and medicine, particularly around placebos and stuff, the more a person believes in what's being done for them, the more effective the therapy is, even if it's like scientific medicine. You don't need to clear a haunting spirit from your aura, but you can still cleanse it, but you don't have to with this issue. Okay.
Great. So this one is called Cat and Mouse. I'm in my bedroom in a house I've recently moved into. I go into a closet where I see a big sheet of plywood, and I lift it to take it out. As I do so, I see 2 white mice on the board. One gets lost in the closet, and the other runs out of the closet and under the bed. Okay.
I figured we'd do this dream because we already did other dreams with these symbols of cancer. But continue on anyway.
At this point, I ask myself if I'm dreaming. If they were rats, I think to myself, I ought to be concerned because Michael Sheridan says that rats signify cancer. Perhaps I should kill them. But I'm satisfied that it's not a dream. And besides, I think they're just a couple of mice. Kind of cute, actually, and I could not bring myself to kill them. I do wonder at that moment, however, if there are rats in the basement. And remembering what a mess the basement was in when I moved into the house, I think that there's a strong possibility of rats down there.
So he became semi-lucid and even thought of me in the dream and said, okay, if it was a rat, it would be cancer. But he's okay because they're mice. Now, I've done this one. I've done this one in dreams. I had one dream many, many years ago where my job was to cull animals, all different animals in a field. And I decided that I was going to keep a pair of babies of each animal. And these were all mutated animals, you know, which is also another really bad symbol. So I'm going along, culling them all. It wasn't really gory or anything like that, but just, you know, I'm killing them. And I'm keeping in a box all the baby pairs of each animal kind. And then when I woke up and analysed the dream, I mean, it didn't require analysis. It was straight away. I was like, oh no, what did I do? I went straight back into the dream and killed everything in the box. So it's you can still do this. You can even do this weeks later if the dream is still strong. You can go into it and do it. But here, he became semi-lucid, but still not lucid enough to do anything. But we'll make sense of the dream afterwards.
But I remain unconcerned because I have a cat. And surely, I think, the cat will take care of any rats. And most urgently, these mice. Indeed, just then my cat goes under the bed to chase the one mouse. But in time, it strikes me that all he wants to do is just play with the mouse, swatting at it half-heartedly with a paw. Soon the mouse emerges and somehow gets on top of a table where there is an unlit desk lamp. He runs into the globe of the lamp, and certain that he's stuck, I switch the light bulb on, thinking the heat will eventually kill him. Shortly, however, he manages to escape. Meanwhile, it turns out that half my bedroom is wide open because my next-door neighbor, a man about my age, whom I have yet to meet, is standing there and says hello. He has a cat too, and his cat makes its way over to me. He seems friendly, the cat, and I scratch his head, but suddenly he turns and bites my wrist, drawing blood. The neighbor looks embarrassed, and I, not wanting to go off on the wrong foot with my new neighbor, say, "Hey, no problem, he was just being playful." Then I excuse myself and go into the adjoining bathroom to stem the bleeding. The neighbor follows me in, sees that the bleeding has stopped, and introduces himself. He says his name is Clyde, which also happens to be the name of my father in real life. I wake up, go online to the Dream Dictionary, and learn to my dismay that mice signify cancer just like rats.
And he says at the end, what to make of this? Good time to update my will. So dream re-entry is the trick for that one. And this, of course, is, a lot of people don't want to hear dreams like this. But would you rather not know? It's like going to the doctor for a checkup and the doctor figuring out what your issues are and then not telling you. It would be insane. So definitely you want to know these things because it's very easy to deal with them. Because remember, your dreams give you these things far in advance of any physical symptoms and any physical condition. Like the physical condition isn't even there. So here's things you can do. Take something to boost your immune system because the cat is not effective in the dream. So the cat really should be killing the mice. The cat symbolises then your immune system, but it's only playing with the things, not really doing anything. And a healthy immune system fights off cancer cells just absolutely fine. Watch your diet, again, because of the cat. The cat and the plywood both would be about your diet and elimination system. So watch what you're eating, do things to help your body. And then the big one, you say the neighbour's name was Clyde. What a coincidence, he's your father's name. Not a coincidence at all. Deal with the issues around your dad. Look what comes up there in the dream. He's trained you to put yourself second so as to save others' embarrassment. You'll know exactly how that is. I'm probably not saying it right. It could even feel to you that you feel embarrassed if you claim the space you're entitled to when other people are in the room. So whatever it is, deal with the issues around dad, cut the ties with dad, and you're not going to have that problem anymore. And then lastly, I have to say, I like your wit.
All right, this one says, "Hey, Dreamweavers. All I can remember from my dream last night, yet on 2 occasions in the dream I had last night, I was handed, on 2 occasions, I was handed a small clear jar, baby food sized, with fur in it."
Okay, very simple. Jars like the bottle in the other dream represent the kidneys here, and it's saying take some supplement that helps your kidney function. Simple as that.
This one is called Vacuuming Spiders. And the dreamer notes that they're finishing up they're in week 3 of cutting the ties. There was a pickup truck that I had rented. I took it back to the rental mechanic's garage, but worried I'd accidentally brought it back too early, and they'd keep the truck when I still needed to use it. Luna, my daughter who is 7, was sad I didn't let her use the motorized hydraulic lift for playing, so I told her to go ahead and use it. I was cleaning out what I first thought was a rearview mirror, but then it became a mailbox. I was using a vacuum hose to vacuum out a white spider with hideous long legs. Then I saw another spider and vacuumed it. Then I was able to remove the web and saw a huge tarantula inside behind the thing I'd removed. There was another spider with it. The tarantula ran out while I was yelling at Dad to look at the crazy thing. We watched the second spider, which was a different type, chase the tarantula up a wall. It was trying to eat the frightened tarantula. Then I woke up.
I love the way she says trying to eat the frightened tarantula as if she had pity on the tarantula. Not a chance. Okay, so a few things that are very obvious. The tarantula is black and orange, so it's about career, so then it's not surprising you have a truck in the dream. And I'm looking at the time, yeah. So you have a truck in the dream, so it's saying, okay, you're afraid of being afraid. Your fears are being compounded and connected with Dad. And this dream is about channeling. The rearview mirror is cleansing to do with issues with the past because you're cleaning it. Go back to the age 7. You haven't used channeling in a while because of the cobwebs and the dream re-entry. That's okay. Go back in and kill the spiders. So, just very quickly, that's our show. Thanks to our producer and engineer, Eric Ryder. Thanks to Susan Pullen. Thanks for listening and sending in your dreams. My in-person course is very soon now, September 26th and 7th in Seattle. Look it up on dream-analysis.com if it interests you. If you think we're hitting detail on the show, you'll be super impressed on the course. Until next week, I'll leave you with this quote. Successful people are not gifted. They just work hard, then succeed on purpose.
Thanks for listening.